Halloween weather looking like?
Yeah, well, we are still going to be keeping that chance of rain in the forecast, but we do have good news. It looks like for trick-or-treating time, we really won't be dealing with widespread lake effect rain showers. So first off, good news there. Just got to get through those morning hours. We'll showcase that with Future Track in just a second. Let's go ahead and talk about our forecast today, though, with our next 6 hours. But of course, before that, we got to just take in this gorgeous image in Michigan City, brought to us by the Blue Chip Casino. We can see just the colorful trees dotting the landscape here. And actually, coming up later with our 4, 5, and 6 o'clock shows, Alyssa Heilman will actually break down some of the science of the fall leaves changing color. So stay tuned for that. Throughout the rest of the day today, temperatures are going to be hitting right around 54 degrees as that high temperature before we start to move back down into the lower 50s. Now for tomorrow's all-important forecast, 52 degrees as that high temperature. And yes, we are still going to be talking about rainy conditions, but just for the beginning of the day. So let's go ahead and walk through today and tomorrow with Future Track. Of course, we'll do that hour by hour, and starting off at the noontime hour, we can see a couple clouds in the area, but mostly sunny, especially when we move into the second portion of the day. Then we will actually start to cool down and change our wind direction. And it's going to be the wind direction that kicks up all of that lake effect rain off of Lake Michigan. We could be seeing a couple sprinkles starting right around midnight tonight. We can't see Future Track not overly excited with the lake effect rain chances, but there's that northwesterly breeze, a lot of lake effect cloud cover, which means heavy, thick cloud cover and warm cloud cover as well. If you're going to be seeing clouds tomorrow morning, that means your temperatures are going to be right around 2 to maybe even 3 degrees warmer than folks with completely clear skies. Now as we move into tomorrow afternoon, noontime hour, 50 degrees as that temperature. Sunshine time for everybody. Also trick-or-treat starting right around 5 o'clock across the board. Of course, check in with your local cities or areas there to figure out exactly when your trick-or-treat times are. But at 5 o'clock, still a couple dots of green on the radar, but mostly dry, especially as we go into the overnight hours there. Not too bad, dropping back into the 30s as we start off our Saturday forecast. And of course, Notre Dame finally back in action after their off week last week. Here in South Bend, our high temperature for Saturday, 50 degrees. Out in Boston, though, not too bad, 56 degrees. They are going to be watching for some pretty gusty and windy conditions at times. So it'll be interesting to see how Notre Dame adapts to that forecast. 10-day forecast, 54 degrees once again for today, 52 degrees for tomorrow for the big day of Halloween, and going into the weekend, still keeping rain in the forecast for Saturday. So we watch a system start to drop down to the south. The next thing we're actually going to be first alerting to, Caroline, it's going to be some chilly temperatures to start off our Sunday there. 34 degrees there, so kind of a new start to the day, if you will.
Yeah, the feelings of winter, they're starting to creep back in.
Got to remember, we're getting around that time, and we're getting around the time. Something we've always been talking about is the fact that, yeah, our first snow sometimes have actually fallen on Halloween. Not going to be the case whatsoever this year, and actually on our 16-day forecast, still not seeing any snow. So obviously good news there.
This is our last week of extra daylight, though. That's going to change.
It is going to change. And you know what? I'm looking forward to at least seeing more light in the morning. At night, though, especially if you're actually on standard time, 4:30 for that sunset. That's
real
crazy.
Dark for that drive home.
That's crazy. Yeah, so I'm not a huge fan of that.
Yeah, I agree. We've got a lot more to get to on 16 News now at noon.